Good afternoon, guys. Happy Friday. I hope you guys are doing well. You have to excuse me, I have got the worst hay fever ever, so if I'm a little bit sniffly, just bear with me. As you guys probably know, it's NFP today. Price has literally done a crazy move. If I've got anyone new here, just to let you guys know, I specifically just trade gold. I do sometimes trade NQ, but predominantly whenever I come on streams, I always trade gold. So I've got the chat up here, guys. So if you guys have any questions, please do just let me know and I'll try and answer them the best I can. But what I thought I would do today is go through my week, show you guys what I've been looking at, just where gold is at the moment. I'm not an NFP trader, so right now what price is doing, it is kind of still looking like it potentially could push up a little higher, but this is just not something that I really like to take part in. Okay, so we got some new people here. I won't go through too much, as I know there's some of you guys know who I am, but just to give you a little rundown, I have been trading now for the last 8 years. And when I say 8 years, it's not been like, straight 8 years. There's been a lot of lessons within these 8 years. I started in this industry through signals. Wasn't a great start, I won't lie to you guys. I'm always going to try to be as transparent as I possibly can when it comes to my journey, because I think the industry can be so toxic with people trying to sell you guys dreams, and that's not what I'm here to do. For me, I've always said I just want to share my journey, the ups and downs. I love trading. It completely changed my life, but at the same time, I've had to go through a lot of lessons. So, like I said, 8 years ago, I didn't start off in the best way, and I just kept losing money. Never realized how important just the psychology was. So my mindset wasn't in a good place. Like, I was definitely coming from a place of desperation. Like, how much money can I make? I need to make money. And this is why from the get-go I had a bad start, because I wasn't doing it for the right reasons. And I'll go through with you guys what I believe trading should be, and hopefully, I'll be jumping on these streams every week. Hopefully we can get a bit of a community going on, and I can show you guys what it's really like when you are a trader. Recently, I've decided to pretty much go all in with trading, which I'm really excited about. But yeah, let me just have a look at some of the comments. But yeah, NFP has literally made the market go absolutely crazy. Oh, thank you, Sanjeev. Um, yeah, it's you know what, like I said, it's not that I've been trading straight for 8 years. It's been 8 years of lessons, hard lessons. Sometimes it's been good, sometimes have been absolutely awful, and like I said, I've had to learn the hard way, and this is why I originally only this year started sharing my journey. I never used to really share my journey on social media, just like little bits here and there, but only really within the last year. I would say within the last 2 years, this is where I've actually really knuckled down on trading. But I wanted to share my journey because became super passionate about the fact that it is a very toxic industry, and as much as I love it, it's not as it's the one of my favorite quotes. I'm not really too sure where I've heard this, but I've heard a lot of traders say this: trading is the easiest, hardest money that you will ever make. It's easy because all you're doing is pressing buttons. You don't physically have to do a lot. Technically, strategy can be fairly simple, but everything else that comes with it makes it hard. The fact that whenever you are trading, you are literally going against pretty much human nature. And as we do more of these streams, I really want to focus in on the psychology behind trading, because I've done a lot of research about this. I've listened to a lot of successful traders, and a lot of, pretty much not a lot of, everyone says the difference between profitable and non-profitable is all to do with their mindset. Oh god, hopefully I don't have sneezing fits. Sorry guys. Like I said, my hay fever is just playing up so bad. But yeah, let's just break this all down for you, because right now this is probably looking messy as anything. So I'm going to actually get rid of everything. I'm going to get rid of everything and show you what it is that I look at when I come onto the chart. I'll show you a couple of the trades that I've taken this week. So this is a brand new ThinkCapital 50k challenge, guys. So every time that I come on stream, I'm going to be taking you along on the journey. This is I want to say it's the Nexus challenge. So I've got to do 3 challenges, and I'm going to just take it slow, show you guys, the real journey. You can just follow along. But yeah, let's just break this down. And like I said, if you guys got questions, please ask away, and I'll do my best to answer any of your questions. Oh gosh, sorry. This is just the worst. It's always the way when I want to try and do a stream. My nose, everything just starts playing up. Yes, it has been very difficult this week. I'm not gonna lie, this is the end of the month. It has been red folder central. So you have to learn to know when to sit on your hands. Like today, I'll explain to you, there was technically the perfect setup, but really with NFP, it's like you may as well go to a casino if you want to take that risk. It literally moved so fast, in such a short space of time. And if it goes against you, then, it's not looking great. God. But yeah, honestly, everything to do with trading is to do with mindset. Yes, it is a 3-step challenge. Guys, if you are thinking about doing a challenge and if you want money off, you can use my code DoeyFX, and that is with obviously ThinkCapital. You guys can see that's who I'm trading with. Like I said, this is a brand new account. We're up $991 this week, and that is, I literally started this challenge this week, so I'll be showing you the journey and just taking you along with me. My light's just gone out as well. Brilliant. It's fine, guys, it's fine. Let's keep it moving. So I'm going to show you, first things first, what I look for, or how I mark up my charts. I like to pretty much do this every single day, even even though, I don't necessarily have to. But at the same time, practice makes perfect. Sometimes I might miss something. Um, I don't always do the daily every day, but what I like to do is start in the higher time frames and work my way down. And the reason why I don't necessarily always redo the higher time frames is because if I show you here, this is a daily trend line. And again, if you guys are brand new here, part of my strategy is trading breakout trend lines. So this is a daily trend line, and for me, a trend line is at least 2 touch points. So the last time that gold came down to this area was back in 2023 October. So I'm not too sure it's coming back down anytime soon. So this is why we then create steeper trend lines like this. And again, even with this one here, gold hasn't come back down to this trend line since February 2024. I don't have a cold, guys. It's hay fever. Yesterday, I'm not too sure where all of you guys are based, but I'm based in the UK, and yesterday it absolutely hammered it down. So, yeah, it's absolutely triggered my hay fever, which is awful. I feel fine. I've just got the worst sniffly nose, so I'm really sorry, guys. So again, we're going to create an even steeper trend line. So my discount is, I think, I want to say 15 to 20%. But just type it in and it will show you at your checkout. FX Bashi. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm doing basically live trading. If an opportunity were to arise, it would really have to tick all the boxes though, because this is NFP today. It's not usually a day that I would usually trade. I do trade Fridays. I know some people don't trade Fridays, but I do trade Fridays, but I don't like to trade NFP. That's just my personal opinion, preference, sorry. I just think it is a big gamble. But I mean, it could kind of settle down. So this is the steepest trend line on gold at the moment. Let's just make sure we get it. When I'm creating my trend lines, I literally want to go from the bottom of the wick. Not like the bodies or anything. So this daily originally was actually broken. Let me show you guys. Because before all of the stuff that has gone on now, as you can see here to the left, it actually broke. And I took a really nice swing sell position from here, using the concept of the fact that we've broken out of a daily trend line. We've got quite a lot of movement to come down to this trend line. And also we have a daily key level here. So let me just mark up the key levels as well. So a daily key level is basically the swing high and swing low. Gold has been consolidating a little bit for a while. That is technically your swing high and swing low. So when we were up here, for me, this was a retest of the back of the trend line. After that break, it failed to break this high. We're at a key level here, and we then go down on the lower time frames to look for that entry. But that was a really, really nice swing. Unfortunately, I didn't hold it because I'm still learning to become a bit of a swing trader. I actually when I first started trading myself and taking my own trades, I was more of a scalper than a swing trader. I'm so sorry, guys. It's literally the worst, this hay fever. It's always the way when I'm trying to do a live as well. Oh, FX bashy. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Like, there are a lot of people who say that they trade and they never do. But this is why I like to do my streams, so I can actually show you and explain to you guys what I'm looking for. And you can go away and, if you don't think the concepts work, then that's your opinion. But this is why I like to connect with you guys and show you all, like, what it is that I'm looking at. So like I said, originally this was our daily trend line. Right now, I suppose we could have moved it out. It's a bit of a risky one though. I'm going to just keep it here for a second and show you guys as well, because even though it broke this trend line, we've got another trend line here. So overall, gold is still bullish. Just reading some of your comments, guys. Yes, and fundamentals is something that I'm starting to take into I always focus so heavily on technicals just because I was a scalper. If you're scalping, technically fundamentals don't really matter unless you're planning on trading news, which that for me was something that I never wanted to do, so it was just very irrelevant. But now that I'm trying to swing trade a little bit more, hold my trades, I'm going to start really, really knuckling down on the understanding the fundamental side of things. So I also like to create these counter trends, so even though we're moving up, we've got a counter trend on the other side as well. This is also another key zone in gold right now. And you can see it because there's a lot of touch points. And key zones is where you're looking for your reversals. So if we look at this zone here, look at how many times price has come into it. And we've had some type of reaction, some type of reversal. Obviously, sometimes it has broken through, but then pretty much straight after, we've got these big moves up. This is where the swing low was created. It hasn't come back down to that point yet. But since, again, all of these areas where it's constantly rejecting off this middle daily key zone area, I actually had this marked up as another area of interest. Yeah, so London session was something that I always used to trade actually, but recently, I don't know about you, but London session for me just hasn't been great. I'm finding it's just been pretty much consolidation. So it's not something that I actually really like streaming anymore, because I used to stream London session. And now it's just getting a bit boring. I never caught really trades on like live, because there was just nothing, and I'm never going to force a trade, especially just because I'm live. Like, that was actually the reason why I started streaming in the first place, was to hold myself accountable and not actually do crazy stuff like that. So I have been finding pretty much like the last kind of 4 or 5 months, London session just hasn't been great. I don't know if you guys think the same. Nice, FX Bashy. What do you consider? Okay, guys. So I'm gonna actually talk you through now more of. Oh, you're on the 1 minute time frame on M1, or is that a strategy? Okay, let me keep going with this, because I know you guys really want to see how I actually take my trades. But I wanted to walk you through literally, every step of the way. When I first come onto the charts, this is what I do. I mark up my trend lines on the higher time frames. I'm marking up my key zones. So now let's go down to the 4 hour. 4 hour, we had, doesn't really matter about everything that happened in the past. What does matter is what is happening now. So so this is where I took my sell position for that swing that swing position up here, and ever since we have been moving down rapidly. We did have a little bit of a breakout here, so let me just show you guys how you could have potentially traded in this, but it would have been on a lower time frame. So we had our breakout here, and to be honest, this is a very weird. I'm pretty sure this is where it consolidated for just, let me just see, 28 for a good few days. But we was like slightly moving up. Yes, so this is it. So on the 1 hour time frame, this is how I take my breakout trades of a trend line. So, like I said, this orange line here, I'm going to just make it different to my daily. I'm going to make it red. This is a 4 hour trend line. We get a break. And then what my retest is basically where it comes to the back of the trend line and we want to start seeing rejection. So we get to the back of the trend line, kind of breaks back in. But for some reason, as you guys kind of get to know some of the little random nuances, but I get really suspicious if a candlestick doesn't have wicks, basically, because for me, most candlesticks have wicks. So a lot of the time when I see a candlestick break back in or break out of an area without a top or bottom wick, it just breaks back the other way. So literally what it did here, we break back into the trend, no bottom wick, and then we just break back out again. So you've got to be a bit patient. Obviously, these are 1 hour candles. Again, you want to make sure that we are creating higher highs and higher lows. If you're taking a breakout to the upside, sorry. We've also got now started this counter trend on the 4 hour. So here's our 4 hour counter trend. Let me just read some of the comments so I don't get too lost. New York being tricky. Yeah. But there's just a lot more volume in New York. And yes, I do know Asian session is a good session to trade gold, but unfortunately, 1 to 3, 4 a.m. in the morning for me is not doable. I have a good load. I've never even heard of M1 traders. Oh, lovely to see that you're here. Just reading some of these comments now so that I don't have to backtrack too much. Yeah, it's the hardest time frame. I don't advise. Are you talking about the 4 hour FX Bashi? Oh no, the 1 minute. Yeah, no, absolutely. I cannot trade the 1 minute time frame. It's not for me, guys. For me, I've always believed in making trading work for you. I'm a mother to a 1-year-old baby. I just cannot have that high level of stress. I absolutely hold my hands up in awe to you, FX Bashi, if you are talking about the fact that you trade on the 1 minute time frame, because that is crazy, but amazing, but crazy. It's not for me. So I'm just showing you guys the 1 hour time frame right now, because 1 hour is a time frame that I do like to trade off, especially now that I've moved over from scalping more to intraday swing trading. But yeah, no more scalping. Even when I scalped, the 1 minute was still too what's the word, intense for me. Like that stuff sent me sideways. So honestly, you're extremely talented for the fact that you can handle that, to be honest, because Yeah, not for me, guys. When I scalped, the lowest time frame that I would use was the 15-minute. Okay, so again, let's get back to it. We're looking now at the 1 hour. So this trade here is something that I took. So we had a breakout. I actually had a buy position down here as well, because we actually created this counter trend. The fact that we broke out of this is a 4 hour trend line. So 4 hour daily, these are your strong trend lines. So when they get broken out of, this is, where you actually have a higher probability of this playing out. So first things first, when we have a breakout, we want to make sure that we have broke structure on 1 hour. So this was kind of like, I mean, they're very small, but we are creating higher highs, high lows, higher highs, and then we get this push down here, and then we break through. So we break above the last previous structure on the 1 hour. And the reason why this matters right now is because we've broken out of a downward trend line. So you could have taken this position. What we are looking for is a retest on the back of this trend line. So if you're a bit more impulsive, you're going to have an order set. If you're not, you're going to wait for the reaction to happen. So we get a big push through, that closes, and you're like, right, that's pushed straight down, back in. I'm not going to enter just yet. Then it pushes straight back out again. So that's showing you that it has just rejected really, really strong back out. So, we're looking now for that buy entry. Like I said, we created the counter trend moving up. So after the green printed, this is now a good indication that we can be a little bit more, subjective, have an order on for here. So let me show you guys back of the trend line. And basically, what you want to do, this is like, you can kind of look around, see what's happening. This was one of the last lows. We can have it just on just on the other side of this wick. But also, when you're trading trend lines, you can use these trend lines as your safety point. So if price closes back on the other side of this trend line, or on the other side of this trend line, to call it quits, cut your losses, don't risk it. But because we're just getting wicks and then rejecting back out, I was pretty comfortable that we were going to move. This was my target point, which it didn't reach. What I did do, because this is nearly a 200 pip move, so even though it looks small, it was nearly a 200 pip move. The reason why I actually came out of this around here was because we started to basically create, it was ever so slightly, but we're starting to create this area of resistance here. We're creating quite a lot of, more equal highs rather than a higher high. So we're now starting to consolidate. And I just thought, you know what? We're coming out of this trade now. So it was nearly a 1-2. I'm going down. Yes, I absolutely agree with you, FX Bashi, about the psychology. This is something that I really, really want to incorporate into my streams. I've been doing a lot of research on it. If any of you guys want an amazing trading book, nothing to actually do with trading the charts, but to do with your psychology, please read The Best Loser Wins by Tom Hogarth. You have to read this, guys. Honestly, it changed my life when it came to trading. But yes, so sorry guys, I'm just reading the comments now. But yeah, if you can, I would really, really appreciate you clicking the like button. Let's get this out. Let's create a community of like-minded people, guys. Honestly, like there's nothing better than being around people who want to better their lives, who are into trading. Because I don't know about you, but you know, when you start trading and you really get into it, it becomes an obsession, like a real obsession. And if you know you have friends and family who don't trade, they just think you're crazy. You want to talk about it and they're just like, shut up. That's why I actually loved coming online and, you know, creating that community, because we could all just be obsessive together. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I know I sound so sick, but it's my hay fever. It's playing up so bad, so bad. But yeah, trading can be a very lonely game, because you know you start to actually face not just trading psychology, but also yourself as well. I won't get too deep on this. We'll talk about that another day. But if we just look at this, like I said, this is where we knew that we wanted to come out. And this was also an indication for me as well that we could potentially move down. Because what I did here was after we couldn't create any more higher highs on the 1 hour, let's just zoom back out. So I actually caught some of this this sell position here. We moved this out. So, like I said, we're creating resistance here. We now realize that the 4 hour downtrend, we are starting to respect it. We're still starting to respect. We're not breaking the last really key area here. We're struggling. You can see that we're struggling. So again, I'm going to go down onto the 15-minute and I'm going to show you guys what this looked like on the 15-minute, because this is as well where I take some of my trades. So I'm always flipping between time frames. So before we get this big break here, like I said, I'm starting to feel very bearish, because you know we're really starting to reject up here. So now we want to see what it looks like on a lower time frame. So this is now what we're starting to see on the lower time frame, which is the 15-minute. We're really struggling to break above here. We're now starting to have, this would be your resistance here, and before this hour closes we get this strong push down. So you're, again, depending on what type of trader you are, after all of these rejections up here, you either just, you know, we get one rejection, nearly a rejection there, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, this area is strong, it's really holding up. You know, after all of this would have been a really nice entry. And by the way that I created this little zone here was on the 1 hour. We're literally just doing from body to wick. You'd have your entry position there. You'd want your stop loss to go above all of these wicks. So, you know, nearly a 40 pip stop loss. There's not a big stop loss. And what you would be targeting is this low here. And this would have been a big trade. Again, I didn't hold it, guys. And I'm going to be so honest with you and so real with you, because like I said, going from a scalper to an intraday swing trader is very difficult, because you're constantly trying to micromanage. Because obviously, you know, I've got someone here who's trading on the 1 minute time frame, which is even more crazy than the 15 minute. But when you're scalping, you can't exactly just leave your phone and walk away. You're literally micromanaging the trade because you need to, in case you need to come out. So when you are switching from a scalper to like a swing intraday trader, it's very, very hard not to micromanage, not to get nervous, because you're so used to coming in and out of trades very quickly. So I mean, this drop started happening very, very quick, but we were kind of playing around here for, a little while before we actually had that drop. But there was another entry, which, if you miss this entry here, this is another way that I like to trade. So again, we get a breakout of this 4-hour trend line. You can see here, really, really strong candle body breakout, closes outside, and then we get a push up, and then it flips straight down. So this is another area where you can enter the trade. And then, yeah, it absolutely melted. I'm not too sure. Was there some type of news? I can't remember. I mean, it was all this week. So, it is, yeah, it was actually. So, a lot of movement. And let me show you again, this is now, we started to create this new trend line. And this is just how I trade, guys. Like, we literally just follow price as we go along. I'm a price action trader. I don't try to predict the market. We just go with what price is telling you at the time. So again, we had a bit of a breakout here on the 15 minute. So we're going to have a look at the 1 hour and see what's happening. And on the 1 hour, we're literally just printing red. So I'm not going to take too much into consideration here, because a trend line should have some pullbacks. And at this point, we've got no pullbacks at all. So even though, the 15 minute, we're coming down like this, you can kind of use it as your safety line as well, because if you're trading trend lines and things like that, you're meant to actually stay in the trade until the trend line's broken. So, if you're in this sell position, you would have come out when that broke there. So then that would have been a 1 to 9, which is crazy. But yeah, obviously, like I said, no pullbacks at this moment in time on the 1 hour. So when this then came out here, dropped down, this is where our new trend line starts. And again, let's see if this kind of played out as a pretty much, if you are a bit more of a scalper, we've got another area of support here. We break through, we retest, flips down, you take another sell position here. Anticipating, even if it is a small move, the way that you take these scalps, and like I said, this is the way that I used to trade, is that we're really focusing on a very, very small position, because you would be able to have your stop loss just above the retest. So then you're looking for a 1 to 1 or 1 to 2 when you're scalping. So there's your 1 to 2 straight away in one candle, pretty much. Just reading some of your comments now. See if we got any questions. Okay, so D, you said you're having trouble not entering on trendline breaks that eventually just become wicks. So, not too sure what you mean by that. What time frame are you putting your trend lines on? Because your trend lines from 1 hour above basically are the ones that hold out a little bit stronger. The 15-minute, they break all the time. How much do you risk per trade? Like 0.5%. I try not to risk more than that, to be honest. That is, especially because I'm trading funded accounts, we got to make sure that we stay disciplined. So I wouldn't personally recommend, risking like 1 to 2%. I know some traders who do. But yeah, for me, 0.5 is enough. FX Bashi, thank you so much. Guys, if you guys want to connect with me as well on my personal stuff, it's just Doey Trades. Follow along on the journey. Like I said, this is a brand new challenge account, so I'm going to be taking you guys on the journey and just sharing what I'm doing to hold myself accountable. Because like I said, like for me in the past, I've had a lot of issues with my psychology when it comes to trading. Just doing crazy stuff as we all do behind closed doors. And I always found, if I'm doing things in front of people, I'm less likely just to take a trade just for the sake of taking the trade. Click the thank you for clicking the like button. I really appreciate you guys. Yes, it is lonely, but yeah, we're trying to socialize. This is why we do the streams, guys. Okay, sorry, just reading some of these comments. We'll have a look at what gold is doing at the moment in a second. Yeah, exactly. But I'm gonna just call you Bashi for now because saying FX Bashi every time, it is difficult. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that switch requires a whole different mindset. When you're scalping, you need a certain mindset to be able to scalp. And being a swing trader, you need a certain mindset to become a swing trader. And like I said, like I needed to make trading work for me. Scalping was promoting a lot of FOMO and revenge trading because I would miss my entries by a second. Enter, you get it wrong, and then because I was too busy, I couldn't trade how I wanted to trade. So then I was like, you know what? If something isn't working, we've got to change it. And even, it's going to come with its challenges, but I know it's going to pay out in the long run because I know that this is what I want to do. Like, I absolutely love trading, even though it's hard. It's tested me to my absolute limits, and I'm sure I'm going to have so many more tests with it. At every new level, there's a new devil. I'm a massive believer of that. So, we'll just have to deal with things as we go along. But I know that this is what I want to do. So, like I said, you've got to make it work for you. Otherwise, how are you going to do this long term? So I do trade NQ as well, but I do predominantly trade gold. Do you close trades before any big news? A lot of the time, yeah. If you're coming, you can just remove the TP and just... But yeah, that's also another thing because, if you're funded, then I don't think you can trade red folder. I'm not I can't actually remember the full rules, but that's like another thing. So for a long time, I haven't really traded news. But yeah, exactly, D. It's all about collecting data, and that's literally what I'm doing at the moment, just collecting data and seeing how it all works. And the more data that you can collect and make decisions based on data rather than emotion, and make trading as mechanical as possible, that's how I feel like you're going to be in the game for the long run. With Funded Nation before? No, I've never been with Funded Nation. Yep, never used Funded Nation. But yeah, so guys, let's just get back on to the charts now so that we can see where gold is at the moment, and I can give you guys my 2 pence about what's going on. So right, we now get a break off the 15-minute, and this is also a 1 hour. So there's your 1 hour break. Also, something else to bear in mind as well, we're now at one of these daily key levels again. So, like I said, how many times has it been that there's some type of reaction, reversal type of move when we get into these areas? So, we get into the area, start moving back up again. We break out of a trend line, a 1 hour trend line. We break out there. If we have a look again on the 15-minute, just zoom right in for you guys. So I actually didn't get in here, but I'll show you where I did get in. We break out here, which, if we take all of those things into consideration, that we're at a key level, we're moving back up, like the higher time frame candlesticks are telling you that we are currently, printing bullish. Could be the start of a reversal, like I said. So the fact that we are pushing up, we get these two little red candles being printed, again, pretty much, showing me that there's just no type of volume for the sellers right now. So then you could actually take this as a bit of a breakout trade. So we've got a breakout of resistance, breakout of a trend line. We get this candlestick breakout here, we get a retest, we flip up, we take our buy position. It does play around for a little bit. So then let me show you. So this is what I've just been doing and this is what I want to show you guys to try and do, is literally collect data on your strategy. And this is where you start seeing that, okay, I haven't really used very much technical terms right now. Like I'm not a super technical trader. When I talk about trading, I'm a very visual person, so I see things in patterns, and I like seeing the candlesticks and stuff. So that's what works for me. So again, when you take this trade, you create a you create like a new trend line like this. Oh, I remember playing around here actually, because I thought that we could potentially, we were getting a bit of a break of a trend line. But again, this trend line is a little bit steep. Trend lines, as you can see, they get these pullbacks. They're not just straight lines like this. So I actually did take a loss. So again, I'll definitely, be really honest with you guys. I'll show you where I took the loss. But then I got back in. So the entry point, we come out as it breaks the trend line here. So again, 1 to 6 risk to reward. So still a really nice trade. But this is where, again, it was a silly mistake. Like I actually knew straight away, but we're human. We're gonna make mistakes. So as we broke out of this trend line here, we retested the top of this trend line, and this is where I actually got into my sell position, because I was thinking we're gonna retest the back of the trend line, push down. This is where I took my sell. And I was going to use that trend line as my safety. Now, I'll tell you where I clearly understood where I went wrong. So when we broke out, and this is the 15-minute structure, so it's not as strong as like the 1 hour and stuff. But even on the 15-minute structure, we did not break this last previous low. So we actually created a bit of a resistance, and then we pushed up and created, another higher low, rather than breaking through that structure and creating a new low. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. I know, I've given a lot of information today. So if you are new here, if you're new to trading, it could be a little bit overwhelming. But I actually didn't take the whole stop loss, because I was like, you know what? I know where I messed up here. So came out of that trade, and then realized, like I said, really the trend line was more like this. So I actually decided to change my bias and go in for a buy. So my buy position was based off this breakout here. So we get a resistance area here, we break out, we retest, and then we enter the position as this flips green, and now our trend line becomes our safety line. So as long as no candles close outside of the trend line, we stay in the trade. And then my target was basically to this kind of area here, which, as you can see, pretty much reached. Well, I did reach. Don't know why I said pretty much, but that was near enough for 1 to 3. Okay, guys, let's do some questions because I feel like I have been going on for a long time. I hope this has been useful for you guys and you've enjoyed being on the stream with me. Like I said, I absolutely love connecting with other people. It's always good to be able to have conversations about trading because I can't have them with my normal friends. So FX Bashi, about me when it comes to trading, I'll go through that maybe a little bit later because I went through that a little bit at the beginning, but you probably missed it. Okay, so D 4 hour and it touches break. Yeah, so with the trend lines, it is hard to understand when to enter, but we need to understand market structure first, and I think that plays a huge part. I think I've been on this now for nearly an hour, guys, so probably won't have time to cover market structure today, but I am going to make this a weekly thing, so I will definitely be back again next week. So it's just Doey Trades _ yes, I think, on X. Doey trades on pretty much everything: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I haven't taken any trades today, guys, because one of my rules is that I don't trade on NFP day. It's just something that it's just not something that I want to trade. Okay, so hopefully you guys are pretty much getting the gist really about this whole breakout strategy that I trade. As you can see here, we get another breakout, we get a little bit of a move down. So if we just have a little look at this, as let's just break down this here. We get a breakout. So, you can either just enter because the last kind of structure point was up here. So we clearly broken that to the downside. Again, your safety point is back above this trend line. So you're in that trade. Probably, unless you're taking TP there, then you'll go break even, be taken out of break even. The thing with trend lines is it can be very subjective. So sometimes I do like to move them back out, depending. But clearly here, this is a clear sign, again, if you understand market structure, that we are in a downtrend. So I don't know if there would be any point in really moving that, because we already know that we're in a downtrend because we're no longer creating higher highs and higher lows. We now actually start a trend on the other side. Which is up here. So again, when you start to see this stuff, when you go down onto these lower time frames, this is where you start to see what is actually happening. This is what we were looking at actually today. So we're nearly there. We're nearly there on what's actually been going on today, and how technically, even though it has been NFP, the strategy that I trade played out really, really nicely. So we now got this downward trend here. Again, we're coming back into this key level. We keep coming back into this key level, and there's constant rejection away from it. So again, we're indicating that we are going to need a hell of a lot of volume to continue this downtrend, because we're at a daily key level here. We break out, we break back in. So, again, all of these things, you just have to have patience, guys, because we then move our trend line to this point here, where that fake out was. And then this was literally pretty much just before NFP. And let's just show you how well this actually just played out. We break out of a trend line that's moving down. So you can see here we break out. This is an area of resistance that we've been wanting to break out, this consolidation zone. We break out here. So now this resistance line is turning into a bit of a support line. Two little red candles print, showing not a lot of strength at all in the sellers. We're rejecting off this area here. We've already had a breakout, so you're either already in this trade and your stop losses just make the the other side of the trend line. So if you were to take this trade, so people always ask me, how big is your stop loss? It just depends how far away you are from the trend line, basically. So breakout. So you've got a couple of options here. You either, again, you're a bit more impulsive and you've taken your trade higher up, or you take it back at the retest point, which would be here. We've now got a counter trend line, which can also be a bit of a safety. We've got that and the steeper one here. So again, as long as we do not break this trend line, this steep trend line, or we come back into the downward trend, this is where we keep our stop loss. Not too sure what's just happened, guys. I think my time may be coming to an end here on the stream, but this is obviously from today. Like I said, this isn't a trade that I would have taken, but it did play out really nicely. My target would have been this area here, and as you can see, that is a really, really nice 1 to 4. Or you basically stay in the trend until the trend line's broken. Obviously, we go very, very steep now. Basically, when this trend line is broken, this is your new safety point here. So we're kind of consolidating. We're either, I feel like a lot of people are anticipating a sell. So I'd be really, really careful, and that's why I choose not to trade on today. We're then going to be closed for the weekend, so it's just not something I want to participate in. But yeah, what a move. Like the strategy that I trade, when I say this really plays out. I know it seems sometimes too simple to be true, and there's a lot of little bits here and there to it, but it really does play out. But yeah, I wasn't too sure what just happened there. I thought my screen stopped sharing, but it looks like it is still going. But yeah, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up because I have been yapping on at you guys for ages. Let me just have a little look. Have a little look at some of the comments. But yeah, guys, I don't actually use any type of indicators. I literally use Market structure, trend lines, support and resistance. I keep things as simple as possible because the more complicated it became for me, the less profitable I became. And that's why I share my experience, because I think sometimes people get really sucked into shiny object syndrome, where you see someone else doing really well with one indicator, and you end up having about 10 indicators. Like, I know my um chart looks messy now, but that's because I'm leaving all the trend lines up for you guys, and we've been working our way through the week. But usually, I would only have the lines up that are relevant. Like I said, if you were in this trade and it wasn't even like a half decent trade setup, it was an A+ setup. But we never know with NFP. Like, even though everything technical is saying that we're going to move up, we could just go down 300 pips and then move up 300 pips. It's just one of them things that sometimes it plays out, sometimes it doesn't. So you've got to, be able to take that risk. But yeah, for me, I just choose not to. So on this occasion, we clearly, it would have worked out. And like I said, if you're trend trading, you stay in the trend until it breaks. And that's basically how I trade, guys. But yeah, I hopefully will see you guys back again next week. Let's keep pushing, to build this community, because it would just be great to be able to share ideas and bounce off each other. Oh, thank you. I'm actually feeling fine, guys. I've just got really bad hay fever. But you guys are really sweet, and yeah, I'll be back again next week. Hopefully, we will actually one of the days that I do stream, we actually catch a trade. Like I said, I'll be trading on my new ThinkCapital challenge, so you guys can follow along on the journey, see how that goes. And like I said, if anyone wants a discount, if you're thinking about doing a challenge, just use the code DoeyFX. It only works on the Think Markets or TradingView platform, I think, not like MT5 or anything, but you get a good discount on there. So maybe we can do these challenges together. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it very transparent with you guys. Like I said, you'll be able to see my balance every time I come back on. So if I suddenly have 3K in drawdown, you're gonna be like, what have you been doing? But yeah, so let's hold ourselves accountable. It's really nice to meet some of you guys. FX Bashi, still hold my hands up to you. 1 minute trader, you're crazy. But yeah, it's been great to connect. But yeah, I will see you guys all soon, and I hope you have the most incredible weekend. Catch you guys later.